Hello again, I am your moderately handsome host, joined here today by the incredibly beautiful and talented Malin Akerman, star of Watchmen. I can assume you've read the graphic novel, the original graphic novel.
Yes, you've assumed correctly.
Yes. What were your expectations between what the book was and how it was going to be adapted to the screen? Were you...
You know, it's hard to say. There wasn't, I mean, I did expect it to you know, I had the opportunity of reading the script. So, you know, I had a bit of an idea of how he had adapted it, and it was very allegiant to the novel. The thing is that I don't have that creative vision that Zach has, where he's just incredibly talented, and that's why he is a director. But he, you know, I was very curious how he was going to, first of all, do Dr. Manhattan, how Mars was going to look like. Was it going to look cheesy? Was it going to look real? Was it, you know, because this is a really heavy content. It's a really real film. So, of course, it's for me, it was all a mystery, and I was just more concerned that it was going to be, you know, something that everyone always said that they couldn't make a movie out of this novel.
Yeah, it's always been
and
said.
I think that we had the right leader because Zach is also a fan, and he felt the same way, and he kind of said, well, you know what, if anyone's going to do it, I'm going to do it, because at least I know what most of the fans want. So I kind of felt like we had a really great confidence and sense of trust in Zach when we went in, so we expected it to be pretty similar.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now the costume. Yours is, can we say, less forgiving than some of your co-stars,
Yes,
who had
you can
muscles
say that.
built in and everything. How hard did you work out to make sure that you weren't
Bulging out in
the wrong
bad
places?
places?
If I can say that.
I mean, let's just put it this way. I was trained by a former Navy SEAL
Oh.
for a month before shipping off to Vancouver to start the fight training. And I was so sore. I mean, I've never felt, there were muscles in my body that I felt for the first time that I'd never felt before. I mean, I'm not the type of girl who goes to the gym and lifts, you know, 155 pounds in dead weight. It's just, you know, the things that we were doing, I never imagined myself doing. So, I mean, you know, unfortunately or fortunately, I was the only person who really had to work hard, because everybody else's costumes had the muscles built into them, those bastards. So I really, you know, I had to really watch it, and I wanted to make it as real as possible and make her look like she had been fighting her whole life, which is difficult to do in a 2-month time span, but yeah, we worked hard.
What were your thoughts when you first saw the costume? Did you see it in the book first, or did you see what the costume creators came up with?
Well, actually, I mean, obviously I saw it in the book reading it, but then, you know, Michael Wilkinson, who did all the costumes, he had this book that he had drawn up, and it was amazing, of all the costumes, and then, you know, he showed me the book, it looked fantastic, and he goes, and by the way, it's made out of latex. And I'd never experienced latex, I've never been a fetish person, so, you know, it was all new, and I go, great, that sounds amazing. And then we went to try it on, and it didn't feel as amazing as it looked.
I've heard you describe it as wearing a rubber band.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. I mean, just imagine pulling a rubber band over your whole body. You know, it looks fantastic, but it just doesn't feel that great.
How long did you have to spend in that every day?
It depended, you know. Some days I wasn't in the costume, which was lovely. It was like heaven. But the days that, you know, we had full-on days, I mean, it would go anywhere from 12 hours to 18 hours. So,
wow.
You know, they tried to make it as comfortable as possible for me, and they'd, you know, undo the corset at lunch, so at least I could digest my food, which was nice.
Take a few deep breaths.
Yeah. But, you know, the 18-hour days were not fun being in that costume. I don't think for anyone. The boys had very heavy costumes, and they were sweating, and I was always the one freezing because mine was paper thin, and, you know, so it was just the woes of our business. It's not big beans, but but it wasn't comfortable.
No, I can't imagine. I've
No.
never worn latex either, and I don't. Actually, I probably would if someone made me a Batman suit or something.
Yeah.
That'd be easy. What's your take on Silk Spectre 2 as a character, as a woman?
Well, that's the one thing that I love about this whole novel, is that, you know, with the exception of Dr. Manhattan, we're not superhuman. We're real people. And I think that it sort of touches on, you know, anywhere from the worst side of humanity to the best side of humanity. You know, the worst being the comedian and all his acts that he commits throughout the book. And I love that we are so human, and we're easily relatable. I mean, it wasn't hard to get into Laurie's character. She's a woman who has a complicated relationship with her mother, sort of like a stage mom who's pushed her child into a business that she wanted for herself.
That's
you
a good
know,
way to describe it.
and it's a very sort of, that's a tough place to be for a child. And so I think when we start this film or this book, you know, we look into her life where she's been in the wrong relationship for a while. She needs to get out. She needs to find herself, find her own independence, sort of coming of age, soul searching, which we all do at one point in our life. So it was very real. It was very tangible. Aside from the fact, you know, the one thing that was really cool is I got to live vicariously through all the fight. I don't really normally go out and kick ass at night, so I liked that part.
You might take it up as a hobby.
I would love to, yeah. I don't know how good I'd be at it, and it definitely won't be in high heels.
The fight choreography was amazing in this film. I mean,
insane. I mean, that was Damon Caro who put it all together, and he was meticulous. I mean, I thought I was doing really good. I'd look at myself in the mirror and go, yeah, that looks good. He's like, nope, that's not good enough. And you're like, what? It's the best I could do. But he got it to a point where he wanted it to be as real as possible. I mean, we worked really hard to get it to be, it has to be, you know, we didn't want to disappoint the fans. It's got to be real. We can't look like actors trying to do fight choreography, you know what I mean? We got to look like real warriors.
Like a brutal ballet.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what it looked like in the beginning of the fight training. It's not a pretty sight.
But you had some experience in sort of moving that sort of gracefully. You used to be a professional ice skater.
Yes, I did. I was definitely competed nationally in Canada, did figure skating for, 10, 12 years of my life, and did dancing. So it involved a lot of choreography. So that absolutely helped in picking up all the moves, but it was so opposite from a ballet move to a punch. You know what I mean? It's the complete opposite.
Very few times on the ice where you would slash at someone with your skates.
Exactly. That would be awful. That might be hockey, more a hockey thing. But yeah, so that was definitely, it was helpful with the choreography, but not so much with the actual looking tough.
So, aside from your own character, who's your favourite Watchman? Who's your favourite character in the movie?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. You know, I think I'm sort of siding with many fans, but I do love Rorschach only because he's got his own drumbeat. You know what I mean? He doesn't care what people think. He's got his own set of values and he sticks to them. So he sticks by his guns. You know, he's a really crazy, messed up dude, but I do love that he's so passionate about what he believes in and he sticks to it.
Cool. Now, this movie is unbelievably sort of densely packed. What would you say to someone who's coming at this movie who hasn't read the book or knows nothing about the source material?
Well, I'm going to say you're going to be shocked. I mean, it's not like it's its own genre of film. There's no way, you can't place it. It's not a superhero film. It's not just a thriller. It's not, it's its own thing. Go in with an open mind because it really is something that's going to move you and shock you and hopefully make you experience every single emotion in the human psyche. But definitely different and amazing, and visually, for me, visually it's just a masterpiece. So it'll be something interesting.
How many times do you think people should see it to get everything?
3.
3 times?
To start.
Just 3 times to start?
Yes, absolutely. At least.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And thank you guys. We'll see you next time.